Hello there, this is Being God's Obedient Servant channel. Today, as you can tell from the title, we're going to be doing Numbers chapter 1. I'm going to go ahead and alert you ahead of time. This is a kind of a boring read. Um, really isn't much to learn here except you will start to see the amount of people that were following Moses at this time that left Egypt and were roaming the wilderness, which is we know now is the desert between Egypt and Israel. So go ahead and jump right on in here because this one has quite a bit of verses. As I said, it's pretty much a straightforward reading, not much to it, no glitz or glamour or anything. It's just a little bit of information. But this was information that was pretty much, well, it was only, you know, for them, for Israelites, especially for ones after, to know which family they come from. Because it is still the 12 tribes of Israel, which are the 12 sons of Israel, the son of Abraham. I'm sorry, the grandson of Abraham. I keep mixing that up. It's like Isaac didn't become Israel. Isaac had two sons. But, anyways, let's go ahead and jump on into this and start reading. So, Numbers chapter 1, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the tabernacle of the congregation on the first day of the second month in the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their polls. From 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel, thou and Aaron shall number them by their armies. So, we can see here that each tribe has its own army. Now, these are just going to be the numbers of men from ages of 20 years old and upward that are able to go forth to war. So the elderly are not in this. Men under 20 years old and women aren't counted in this at all. This is just the men. So you're going to find out there's a lot of people. So continue on verse 4. And with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one head of the house of his fathers. And these are the names of the men that shall stand with you. Of the tribe of Reuben, Eleazar, the son of Shedeur. Of Simeon, Shelumiel, the son of Jerashadai. Now I'm warn you ahead of time. I'm gonna butcher a lot of these names because I'm not I'm not good with these. But I'm just going ahead warn you ahead of time. My dyslexia doesn't allow me to say some of these things properly. Verse 7. Of Judah, Nahshon, and the son of Aminadab. Of Issachar, Nathaniel, the son of Zuar. Of Zebulun, Eliab, the son of Helon, or Helon. You can choose on that one. Verse 10. Of the children of Joseph, of Ephraim, Elishama, the son of Ammihud. Of Manasseh, Gamaliel, the son of Pedazur. Of Benjamin, Abidan, the son of Gideoni. Sorry, there's an I on the end of that one. Of Dan, Izer, or let's see if I can, Ahizer, I want to say it like that, the son of Amishad, Amishad. Amishadai. Whew. I hate to have to be the one to have to write this stuff down if it was written on stone tablets. Verse 13. Of Asher, Pagiel, the son of Ochran. Of Gad, Eliasaph, the son of Deel. Of Naphtali, Ahira, the son of Enan. These were the renowned of the congregation, princes of the tribes of their fathers, heads of the thousands in Israel. And Moses and Aaron took these men which are expressed by their names. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. As the Lord commanded Moses, so he numbered them in the wilderness of Sinai. And the children of Reuben, Israel's eldest son, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names by their polls, every male from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Reuben, were 46,500. Of the children of Simeon, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, those that were numbered of them, according to the number of the names by their polls, every male from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. I'm going to go ahead and warn you, it says this same phrase many times in this. And so, why does it say this every single time? I don't know, but this is how it is written. So we read it as it's written. Verse 23. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Simeon, were 59,300. Of the children of Gad, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Gad, were 45,650. Now, the one thing you're going to notice here, how it says can go forth to war. God does not want us to fight one another. He wants us to live in peace, but he does know that that's impossible with Satan governing the world today. So for those still asking the question, why is there so much turmoil and pain and suffering on earth? It's because it's governed by Satan right now, not God. And that leadership changed once Eve sinned and sin entered the earth. God couldn't be here no more, and Satan was then the ruler of the earth. It will change one day when God retakes the earth and casts Satan into the lake of fire. Meanwhile, Satan is doing his thing to see who's going to follow God and who's going to follow him, Satan. Because Satan hates us. Satan knows he's lost the war. He just wants to take as many of us with him as possible. And God gave us an out. That was the prophecy being fulfilled with Jesus, the Messiah, being born and then dying for our sins, giving us the ability to be under grace. So not just the Israelites, but all now have access to the kingdom. That's when Satan knew that he lost the war. But he's still battling because, as I said, he hates humans so much, he's going to take as many of them with him as he possibly can. And the way the Bible reads, that pretty much over 90% of the population that ever existed on planet Earth will be cast into the lake of fire and be there with Satan. That's a lot of freaking people, man. That's going to be a lot of people. I mean, we're possibly talking trillions. The Bible even says the way to the way to the lake of fire is wide and broad. I think it says it that way. I mean, it's kind of like the same word. Broad and wide being the same word. Or is it crooked and wide? But anyways, the way to righteousness is straight and narrow. And the reason being is there's only one way to righteousness, to being with God. That's one way, and it's straight. You have to do it God's way. Can't be your way, Satan's way, your neighbor's way, or anything else out there. It has to be God's way. This is why we are to study the Bible, read the Bible, go through it, so that we understand what God wants from us and expects from us. And a lot of people aren't being taught this no more, and they're not learning it on their own. They're too busy with video games or, social media. Or I don't know what they're too busy with. Probably praise and worship concerts. I don't know. I don't really go to any of those things because I'm not saying anything wrong with the music, but you have more people gathering for a concert environment than they actually do actually going to church and studying God's Word. You can just tell that by the way most of the women are dressed at these events, because they dress like all the other worldly women out there. They're not dressed like godly women at all. And they are lost and don't even know it. It's sad but true. So, but let's continue on here. Verse 26. Did I read that last part here? Oh yeah, I did. Sorry. Messed up there for a little bit. I lost my place. Verse 26. Of the children of Judah, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Judah, were 314,600. Of the children of Issachar, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Issachar, were 54,400. Now later on, you're going to find out in the Old Testament, other nations, as they come in to take the land from the Canaanites feared the Israelites, and they're going to be for a very good reason, because of the size of their army. They were able to get stuff done just by sheer numbers. But I said, right now, Canaanites have been disobeying God and killing innocent children for financial and sexual and whatever prosperity, following a false god. Kind of like you have the people today having abortions, following Satan, thinking, well, I can't handle a child right now, I can't afford a child right now, blah blah blah. I want to be able to have random sex with whomever and everybody out there without no repercussions whatsoever, yada yada yada. And or my career is important, which God says a woman isn't supposed to even have a career. Her career is her husband. But it's we kind of have the same thing going on today. But yeah, so the Canaanites are being punished by the Israelites, well, by God, and God is using the Israelites to punish the Canaanites and remove them from the land. And of course, even when the Israelites are there, they disobey God and they mess things up too. But it is still promised to the Israelites. But yeah, so as I said before about, the world ain't a pretty place, and God expects us to fight for what's right. Protect ourselves, protect our families, protect each other, and we got to be able to fight off the wicked, even if it means to the death. So, even Jesus says that, told his disciples, in the coming days when I am gone, it's better for you to have if you have 2 coats, sell one and get a sword. So even telling his disciples to be armed, be prepared to defend yourself. And, so it's expected of us, really. Let's continue on here, because I think there's 54 verses in it, something like that. I think there's 54. So, verse 30. Of the children of Zebulun, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Zebulun, were 57,400. Of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Ephraim, were 40,500. Of the children of Manasseh, sorry, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Manasseh, were 32,200. Of the children of Benjamin, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Benjamin, were 35,400. Of the children of Dan, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Dan, were 62,700. Pardon the little clickety clacks. That was my beloved puppy coming in. He's now going to lay down in front of the aquarium. Verse 40. Of the children of Asher, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Asher, were 41,500. Of the children of Naphtali, throughout their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names of 20, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Naphtali, were 53,400. These are those that were numbered, which Moses and Aaron numbered, and the princes of Israel, being 12 men, each one was for the house of their fathers. So were all those that were numbered of the children of Israel by their house of their fathers, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war in Israel. Even all they that were numbered were 600,000 and 3,550. That's a lot of people. Now you gotta remember, those are just men of fighting age, 20 years and upward. Just men. These are not counting the children, under 20 of the men, no women, and of course they go to a certain age. It didn't really do a cutoff, but it says they would go to war. They kind of knew, like, at a certain age they're too weak, or you ain't gonna be able to go to war. So the elderly aren't included in there either. So so you're pretty much looking at least probably triple that number of total people. Somewhere close to there. So the actual would be, like, what did it say, 603,550? Yeah, they do kind of say it a little weird, but it's like once you kind of learn what they mean. Like when you learn other languages, their numbers are normally done backwards. I had to learn German a little bit, and did learn a little bit of Spanish and stuff. So yeah, they kind of did their numbers backwards too. English language about the only one that actually goes straight. But let's continue on here. Verse 47. But the Levites, after the tribe of their fathers, were not numbered among them. For the Lord had spoken unto Moses, saying, Only thou shalt not number the tribe of Levi, neither take the sum of them among the children of Israel. But thou shalt appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of testimony, and over all the vessels thereof, and over all things that belong to it. They shall bear the tabernacle, and all the vessels thereof, and they shall minister unto it, and shall encamp round about the tabernacle. Now, of course, Moses and Aaron are in the tribe of Levi. This is where the rule is no one is allowed to be a priest unless you're a descendant of Aaron. And the Levi family, the tribe of Levi, is to take care of the tabernacle, which later on becomes a temple. They are still in, these are the people that of the 12 tribes. This is the one tribe. They are the priests and the caretakers of the temple, the tabernacle, and everything of that. The other tribes, later on, when they're given their lands and this, that, and the other, they're, still have fighting age men. So, like, in these times, you didn't just train to learn your craft. You also trained to fight in combat, because there was no real armies. It was straight militia. Was everybody that was a fighting age, grab your swords, your shield, and go. Your spears, swords, whatever you had to take with you, that's what you had. You took it. You went. All. There was no exceptions. If a fight was coming, you went and fought. And that's what a militia is. Was pretty much the civilian population fighting. Kind of like the Second Amendment of America. A well-regulated militia, which means the civilian population able to be well armed to defend themselves, to keep and maintain a free state. So that was the same. There's Moses and his brother Aaron. They're part of the tribe of Levi. Let's continue on here. I think we're at the end of this. So. And when the tabernacle setteth forward, the Levites shall take it down, and when the tabernacle is to be pitched, if you don't know what that means set back up, because at this time the tabernacle is a tent. It's a very large, heavy tent. It's it's nothing that we have today where we just undo a little strap, throw it up in the air, and boom, hey, no, nothing like that. The Levites shall set it up, and the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. So, like, only the Levites were to mess with it, touch it, set it up, and to maintain it or be in it. So, let's continue on, verse 52. And the children of Israel shall pitch their tents, every man by his own camp, and every man by his own standard throughout their hosts. But the Levites shall pitch round about the tabernacle of testimony, that there be no wrath upon the congregation of the children of Israel, and the Levites shall keep the charge of the tabernacle of testimony. And the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord commanded Moses, so did they. And it said that's the end of this study. And as I said, there's not really much in there that pertains to today. It just kind of gives you it's just more informative of knowing what was going on. And all these people looked to one man, Moses, to get everything done. Moses at this time, he was the leader, the judge, all this other. He was. Later on, when some other things start, he's going to have people underneath him that he's going to have to delegate to certain areas, because it's just becomes too much for him. He can't get nothing else done. But we haven't gotten to that part yet, so it is coming up. But yeah, it's. I said there's little bits of information there, especially like how God expects people of fighting age, or expects the men of fighting age to take up arms and defend. Defend the weak, defend the innocent, defend your families. It's expected of you. And so that's why you need to be ready. especially right now, because a lot of things are uncertain right now. There's a big crack, a big divide in America. If you're in America, you know what I'm talking about. If you're listening to this and you're not in America, um, I don't know if I don't know what your country's going through, but you are to be ready, because this is right. Right now there's a lot of uncertain things going on, and if you're trying to live right with God and do right, and you live in one of those states where that's being condemned, I'm gonna tell you right now, God says to be at peace, you must be with like-minded. So I'm gonna tell you, if you can do everything you can, move. Get out of harm's way if you can. I ain't saying give up the fight, but especially if the if the other side is extremely stacked against you, like if you're one against thousands, you're not going to win that fight. I ain't saying you don't spread the gospel and stuff, because we're all commanded to do that, but God doesn't say sacrifice yourself and not take care of your family. Because I was a soldier and stuff too, and the one thing you learn as a soldier is, if you're a dead soldier, you can't fight. You're just dead. You can't protect, you can't defend, you can't fight. I mean, you might have given your life for the greater good, but that doesn't help out in the fight. So, I pray the fight doesn't come. I pray we don't end up in another civil war. But the way things are looking right now, we have a very good chance of that happening. And make no mistake, if you're on the conservative side and you think, well, we got all this, we're good to go, blah, 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 you better pay attention close, because the left is extremely financed. And we're talking hundreds of billions of dollars. And they have access to almost all the manufacturing states. Weapons, ammo, this, that, and the other. They control most of them. It's just... And plus, they're backed by China. They can get all they need from there. You can't have a bullet in America today, because all the lead shot comes before it is encased in copper to make full metal jacket rounds. All the lead bullets come from China. They're not even made in America no more. We need to get our manufacturing back to these borders. You might be able to make some of your own stuff at home or whatever, but chances are, if it does happen, if we run out of ammo, that's it. Because we're not going to have the ability to make our own. All our manufacturing for that's in another country right now, overseas in China. The left will have access to it. We won't. Keep that in mind. This is why you got a lot of people that are stockpiling as much ammo as they can, just in case. As the scout rule goes, it's better to have it, not need it, than to need it, not have it. So, I'm going to end this lesson here. Once again, pray for peace. Pray for the world. Pray for each other. Pray for your families. Pray for yourself. So, until next time, God bless, good night, and goodbye.